So for those who don't know Seven Spires yet, how would you describe your sound in just a few words?
Is this a question for me?
Must be.
Okay.
I think so.
I would say paradoxical. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Emotionally charged. Like visceral, but also deliberate, and quite dense.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you describe yourself as musicians?
As musicians, probably insane. Like we have to like we're all super nerds at our instrument, and I think you can't be fully sane and be like there's do you know what I mean? Like you can't be fully sane and be fine with spending like I don't know 8 hours a day repeating the same thing over and over again until you have mastered it, and then doing that
Yes.
again with the next skill. So I would say insane. I would also
And
say potentially troubled for some of us.
yes,
That's
also
also why we're artists.
intense comes to mind because that's also a required skill is the intensity to, repeat those things. Um, so yeah, that's one that I would add. I think we're all very passionate, like musically, the passion that we have in many other areas of life translates to not only our music, but ourselves as musicians very well. So,
Yeah.
mm.
And what about you, Dylan?
Oh, I'd say it's like super like I'd say also very eclectic. There's a lot of different elements that kind of combine the overall sound of the band. So there's lots of influence of not only the symphonic element, but there's also some elements of jazz. There's some prog thrown in. There's a lot of different styles and elements that get thrown in. So then that also just being music nerds as well, just kind of going off of what everyone has said. So it's that kind of contributes to the overall sound of the band.
I see a head doing this. And you blend symphonic melodic death and progressive metal in a very unique way. How did that combination came about?
It's always been what we've liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we first and foremost we make the music that we want to hear and that excites us. So all of this like genre blending, genre bending stuff comes from just appreciating different kinds of music, different art forms in general, and trying to create something that makes us happy to listen to, and hopefully other people seem to enjoy that as well.
Storytelling plays a huge role in your music. Do you approach your albums as conceptual journeys?
I mean, in general, yes, I would say they're conceptual journeys. I would say there's more specifically quite emotional journeys. Um, I don't know that the story comes first when writing an album. I think usually it's like a collection of scenes that are informed by like life experiences and strong feelings that need to somehow be processed and expressed in a way, or perhaps immortalized. And at some point after writing several of these songs, the story begins to reveal itself to us, and then it's up to us to use the tools and the knowledge that we've gained over the years to help it become what it was always meant to be. Um, so yeah, I guess we approach them as conceptual journeys.
They certainly end up that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your latest single, Love's a Souvenir, has a very intense and emotional atmosphere. What story or feelings were you aiming to convey with this song?
A lot of chaos, some hopelessness and exhaustion. And sometimes when you're in such a low state, you feel like the only thing that's still and everything around you is in utter chaos, like you were the eye within a storm, and there's no way out of it without going through the storm itself. So I think musically there are some very still or slow moments, while there are a lot of other elements that are going by very quickly. Um, and I think there's just yeah a lot of slow agony, and maybe even a tiny glimmer of hope in the chorus when you like have these same cadences over and over again back into minor, but then you have to find the line, and we finally get like the major third, and it sort of like opens up um, into something that could maybe one day be positive. So yeah, I guess not a very nice cocktail of feelings, but it seems to be one that resonated with people quite deeply.
A lot.
Hmm.
Does this track hint at the new conceptual chapter for the band, or is it meant to stand on its own?
Sorry, what was the question?
Does this track hint at a new conceptual chapter for the band, or is it meant to stand on its own?
Oh, this song is part of our most recent album, A Fortress Called Home, that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a standalone single, and it's part of that record. It's just a new music video.
Yeah, we always wanted to make a video for it, but like money and also time. But we finally had enough of both to make that video. So there it is.
And Adrian, your vocal range is incredibly versatile, shifting from operatic to harsh growls. How did you decide which style to use in each song?
How do I decide which style to use? I think it's quite intuitive. Again, I think every single answer I've given in this interview so far has been like, it's very emotional. But yeah, it absolutely is. In general, my approach to writing songs and writing music in general and like singing and performing, also how I move my body, everything is very, I don't know, based in a root feeling. So whatever is the theme of that song, if there's like a deep darkness that is coming from somewhere very ugly but powerful, that probably means it's time for harsh vocals. And if it's coming from a place that's very rigid and refined, that probably means like let's draw from the classical world, because that's kind of how what's the word, pedagogy, whatever.
Thanks.
That's yeah, like how classical training is. Anybody that's had classical training will probably agree with me. It's kind of terrifying at some points. And anytime there's like something that's like, I really want this, and that's like, it's an I want song, that's quite typical of theater and like pop music and rock as well. And I don't know, more like mainstream type of stuff, I guess I could say. And that lends itself really well to belting, because it's the kind of thing that you would shout from the rooftops anyway. Like, I love this person, or I need this thing, or I'm pissed about that. Yeah. So it's not a very straightforward answer, but it's like whatever I feel like, basically.
What emotions or messages do you hope listeners carry with them after hearing your music?
This is also a question for me, or do you want to go for it?
I
Or
guess
any of you?
it's hard to say, because I think you, as the artist, you never know how the audience is going to respond to what you're doing. You only know what you put into it. So hopefully there's some overlap between what you're feeling and what you want to express and what they interpret. But at the end of the day, I think everybody has their own journey, and everybody responds to textures and sounds and feelings differently. So at least for me, I hope that whatever journey they go on, they resonate with it strongly in whatever way they're going to, rather than picking a specific one for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Very well said. Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting. A lot of the time, people, will share uh, sort of their association with some of these things, um, and ask us questions even about how close their experience was to the experience that the song, that created the song, and sometimes it's pretty far off, which is an amazing thing to see. So. Um, yeah, so that's what I would add to that, but I think Jack makes a great point with it. Yeah.
beyond music, what other influences, such as literature, cinema, or art, shape the Seven Spires aesthetic?
I didn't catch that. Sorry. What?
Beyond music, what other influences, such as literature, cinema, or art, shape the Seven
Oh,
Spires aesthetic?
like what other art forms besides music?
Mm-hmm.
I'm super into like late romantic paintings, typical like Friedrich um, Wazowski, right? That's how you say his name. This type of stuff, um, like ocean landscape, moody stuff. I don't know. I play a lot of like RPGs, video games, stuff like that. I enjoy reading, like most of us do. That was a lifelong thing. Um, yeah, spending time outside, not in the sun. Anybody else?
I definitely think that we are known to pillage a bookstore when we're on tour. So we'll hit the bookstore pretty hard. Um, and yeah, I would say like I definitely don't play a lot of like video games or anything like that, but I think the sort of the art like romantic and kind of a lot of the darker, more epic looking oil paintings tend to really do it for, I think, all of us. We're usually pointing that stuff out to each other when we're on the road.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
architecture. When we're on tour in Europe and there's like incredible architecture, wow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's a good
You can
shit.
imagine.
Yeah.
And do you paint?
Do I paint?
Yes.
Not well. There was a time when I was a kid, long time ago, when I wanted to be a visual artist. My mom introduced me to the world of art in general, and she was super supportive of every creative endeavor. Um, and I enjoyed painting. I still do for fun, basically. Um, but sometimes it's good to just do things for fun, and we don't have to monetize it. Everyone else see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like I try to sing, but it's impossible for me.
If you enjoy it and if it brings you some peace, that's all that's important, I think.
Only in the shower.
Yeah, in the shower. Yeah.
Yes, it's better for everyone.
Painting
Yeah.
in the shower is an impressive skill, actually. It's not easy.
If you do, you can send me a video.
Okay. We'll figure that out.
I
Very
posted
wise.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
What was your experience like playing at Legend of the Rock this year?
Hot.
Sweaty, yeah. It was our first time as a band in Spain, actually, and it's the Spanish audience is known for being extremely intense, and I think that was proved correct. It was really cool to play there. The air and the scenery in Alicante was beautiful. Yeah, it was a really great experience, especially for a first time in Spain, and I hope we can come back very soon.
What did you like the most from
The f-
Spain?
the food was amazing. Like we ate almost exclusively, at least me, I ate every meal at the hotel restaurant, and it was very good. I had everything that I wanted to have on the menu, and that was lovely. And also the other thing, as Jack said, like the audience was really, really fantastic. I had such a fun time at that show. I think we all did, but I you know, I right before the show, I felt this kind of like energy that I used to feel when I was a teenager, before a show where you'll like kick over the amps or something. Like I had that kind of energy for that show, and so that felt pretty special. I think the people were pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The people was impressed with your show.
that's
That's,
cool.
that's nice to hear.
Yeah,
He said the same.
that's great.
How did you feel about the reaction of the Spanish? No, that's the same question. Sorry. Did you notice any big differences between the Leyendas crowd and other European festival audiences?
Everybody spoke Spanish, and that was very different for us. We have a lot of experience with, like other audiences in Europe, and it because the crowd was so different and so intense, it was actually a different experience for us on stage trying to engage with the audience. And I think anytime you play to an audience that doesn't speak your native language or a language that you speak, there are challenges that come with that, but also the love of the music at the end of the day comes through no matter what you do. So um, yeah, that's always an intense experience that depends on where you are, but it's it's nice to know that like at the end of the day the community is centered around the art and not our skill with other languages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was one of the bigger differences was, you know, like Adrian speaks a little bit of German and I speak French, and you know we usually can make you know, we can usually have a little bit of fun practicing languages and stuff, and we were actually talking earlier about the fact that we should like try to learn some phrases in Spanish and stuff like that, because then I bet the whole audience would be like, "Wow," you know, and really really react to that. So for the next time when we come back to Spain, we're probably going to say whatever silly things we can come up with in Spanish. So
If you need to practice, you can call me, and I will.
yeah.
I will
Yeah, I might have some questions for you
translate.
to say some crazy stuff. So
Were you able to enjoy any other performances at Leyendas?
I quite enjoyed the Miracle of Sound. I didn't really get to see their show that much. We were shopping at the booths, but they sounded so incredible, and from what I could see, they also looked so great. Um, I think they were actually staying at the same hotel as us. They were very like nice people as well, and yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
we didn't get to see too much of it. Actually, there were quite a few bands on the fest as well that are favorites of mine that I didn't get a chance to see just because of the logistics of getting back and forth between the festival grounds and the hotel and playing the show and then going back. And it was actually a surprising bummer to not see too many of the bands on this trip. But hopefully next time. I would have loved to see Kanonenfiber, this German black metal band that was playing around the time that we were on, and the Halo Effect was there. Cemetery Skyline was playing the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, not really, but hopefully next time.
yeah, that's one of the challenges about doing these festivals, that I think for all the bands, this is something that when we're at the hotels and we're hanging out with the other bands, we talk about the fact that we go from the hotel to the shuttle to the stage to the shuttle to the hotel, and so that's very nice, but we don't often get to catch other bands that we'd like to see unless we unless we walk to the to the venue. Yeah, I did get to catch a little bit of that band that Jack mentioned, Canon Fiber, I think,
Fever.
and
Fever. Okay.
Fever, and that was sick. That was a very, like, I did not know them before, and I was walking, like, not really paying attention, and then I heard that band, and I was like, oh shit, and that was very solid. So glad I saw
It
I
did
mean,
catch
I'm
It did catch a
that.
tiny bit of alt because when we were setting up, they were on stage.
Oh,
And alt
Yeah.
is a really cool a metalcore band from Sweden that has like a lot of like progressive tendencies thrown in. So they were really really cool to see. Uh, Definitely want to check out more of their stuff because they sounded super awesome.
yeah, killer band.
If you could give one piece of advice to younger fans trying to break into the metal scene, what would it be?
Oh,
Be yourself, I think, would be mine. Yourself. And don't worry about um like don't worry about like quantity of output, but more about the quality and longevity. Because unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, as we were told when we were raised, the internet is forever. So we think. And I think we've kind of always been a band that was more focused on creating the best possible thing that we could at any given time. And I think it can be incredibly distracting, especially for like new or younger artists, to get wrapped up in what's trending, literally like social media trends or what's trending like on the charts. And I think it can be really easy to lose yourself in the pursuit of yeah, all of that. And if you get into it because you want to be famous, that's one thing. But if you get into it because you love the art, then it's important to remember to be yourself.
I think my advice would be similar, but I see and I talk to so many bands, like younger bands or like smaller, hungry bands that are wanting to take their careers to the next level, but they're looking for that one connection or that one thing that will be a shortcut into making it. And I think this is maybe comes from the older kind of 80s way of doing things where, like, the scout would come to the bar and see your band and then suddenly you're Guns N' Roses playing the biggest stages in the world, and that's just not how it works anymore. So I think if you really love your craft and you love art and you love the lifestyle, you're going to have to grind for it. You're going to have to put in a lot of hard work over a long period of time, and that is the reliable way of getting ahead, and not looking for that networking secret or that shortcut that will make it happen for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think another, to contribute a third parallel perspective here, like the phrase that I really like is that if you take care of the music will take care of you. And I think that's kind of what we're all saying here. There aren't there aren't any shortcuts. Maybe sometimes there are, but if you're looking for them, you're not going to find them. Um, and uh, and then also don't have a plan B, because you uh then you then you have a plan B. It's better if failure is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to kind of contribute as well, don't be afraid to experiment with your sound. Don't be afraid to branch out and try different things. And even if it sounds like it's the weirdest type of blending of genres or styles, like I think you can come up with something that's really unique. If, like, let's say if you really loved comic books, but you also love, I don't know, tech death, and you can combine those two together. Or if you really like funk music, but you also really like progressive metal, you can toss those ideas in as well. So like, don't be afraid to just try as many different ideas as possible and see which things land, because then that's just going to be uniquely yours in the long run.
And do you have any rituals before going on stage?
What was that?
Do you have any rituals before going on stage?
Oh,
Ritual.
any rituals?
I tune my guitars usually. Um, we change our clothes.
Yeah, we do like a band hug.
We do a band hug. That's true.
Mm,
Extra
mm.
deodorant.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so especially with the festivals, but in general, usually the pre-stage time, there are one or more things going on that eat up that time right up until the last minute of the intro track starts. So, like, I would love to have a little more ritual time, but it's usually like, are the belt packs on? Where's this? Where's that? Is everything plugged in? Are we good to go? All right, roll it. It's usually a, a pretty quick thing.
Yeah. I personally I always fit in recently for the last 1 or 2 years. I always fit in some time to just look at the sky if we're outdoors. Or actually even if we're not outdoors, I will go outdoors and look at the sky for like a minute or something. And that's a good one. Yeah.
I do like a grounding exercise and like some slow, like a Tai Chi type of stuff for breathing and feeling like the energy of whatever city we're in beneath my feet and feeling whatever constellations are above us there and try to stand a bit taller and open myself to the right energies and become like a conduit for that instead of a small speck of dust yelling on a stage. Yeah. But that usually happens during the intro track when you guys have already like gone on stage. So I'm just
Mm.
there. Yeah.
What do you listen to when you are not writing or playing metal?
A lot of lo-fi and like sleepy jazz and K-pop.
I usually listen to clients yelling at me on the phone about their their albums. I also do audio production outside of being in a band, so I end up listening to like probably more metal than I actually want to when I'm not playing it myself in a great way, but in a also a very technical way. So I find myself more and more often enjoying silence when I'm not on the clock and in a book or a candle or something like that.
I like orchestral music too, like soundtracks and yeah, same like late 19th century type beat.
Hmm.
And
What
if you
about you,
could
Dylan?
play another genre of music, what would it be?
Oh,
No
that's a good
reggaeton,
question.
please.
Hmm.
That's very tough. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, mm,
you do, Pete. You guys, most of you
I
all other
yeah,
stuff.
I do. I have this piece of furniture behind me there, and that's actually an instrument too. Yeah, I play like a lot of jazz, you know, and that's also what I listen to. I listen to like really annoying old New Orleans jazz, which is cool, um, and a lot of orchestral stuff and Rachmaninoff, especially recently. But yeah, I play like a lot of like Manouche jazz, especially, um, and that's fun. I would love to play more like kind of. I would love to play more like neo soul type stuff. So that's like hiatus coyote type of thing. I really like, and I wish that I could, but I don't think there's a lot of time to do that. And also, I don't really know hiatus coyote as people, and so I don't do that.
I would love to like just play like get into like more of the breakcore stuff or like the late kind of like 2000s drum and bass type of style that was used in like a ton of like old video games and stuff like that, like playing that style, like Igor or Venetian snares or something like that, where it's like
Yeah.
super drum heavy, very fast, very intense. So it kind of correlates to a lot of like metal in a sense, but it's just thrown into like more of like a techno kind of setting.
Yeah.
That stuff is always super fun, but also like kind of makes you laugh because it's so unrealistic to play it. But the challenge of it between like a lot of different drummers that try and get as close to it as possible is always fascinating how everybody approaches it. So playing that style is always a lot of fun to kind of push how far you can play and how intense you can play and how come you can play within such an intense setting.
And is there anything else you would like? Sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, it's because I can't hear very well, so
Oh,
I don't know if you're talking or not.
Oh, I was gonna say that I would be interested in trying some kind of electronic music, like DJing, like live, like at festivals or something. Yeah, and like I don't know if it would be like melodic dubstep or some. It would be like melodic, aggressive, bass heavy. So not. It wouldn't just be like hardstyle or like something that you would hear in Berlin necessarily, but um, there's an artist, I can't remember his name right now, but he like fuses like old famous classical pieces with electronic dance music, and it's super cool. Um, that seems kind of interesting to me, but I think I'm into like the show aspect of it, but then I don't have to be a singer, but I can still like feel the I don't know, feel the music with everybody. I think that would be cool. Yeah. And there's still like a cool element of like orchestration or arrangement um, in that role. So I would still get to like scratch that itch in a way. Yeah.
If you do that someday, I will be there.
Okay.
And is there anything else you would like to say to the people who are watching us?
If you haven't heard our latest album, A Fortress Called Home, you can check it out on any streaming platform. It's also on the YouTube. And let's see what else. Stay tuned for like future tour announcements and things like that because we are going to continue trying to play in Spain again at some point. Hopefully we come
You
back
must.
soon.
You must.
That was awesome. So yeah, thank you for supporting us. And if you don't know us, check us out.
Yeah. And for those of you on that side of the pond, we're going to be touring Europe soon. At the end of this year, we'll be in the UK for a couple of shows with the band Sonata Arctica. And then after that, on the road with our friends in Ad Infinitum and Tulip. So that'll be quite some shows, round out the year with a bang. Good vibes, good music, good fun. So if you can make one of those shows, come on out and say hi.